Hello and welcome back to Essay Writing in English, where we are focusing on paragraph and essay level writing. I am coming to you today from tropical Bali, as you can see here behind me. It's a breezy day. Got my baseball cap on and my sunglasses because it's so bright here. Instead of a PowerPoint, I've chosen to do another recording like this because I want to go through Unit 2 in our textbook, and this is the best way to show you Unit 2 while I talk to you. And you will be happy to know that Unit 2 is quite a bit shorter than Unit 1. Unit 1 was extremely long, but Unit 2 is much shorter and actually a bit easier. So it should not take us too much time to get through it. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen with you. And here we have Unit 2 in our textbook. We are talking about before you start writing is what this is all about. How we get ideas, where they come from. And to do that, we'll be talking about brainstorming. We'll do some brainstorming activities. And then we'll also do a little bit of grammar. And the focus here is subject-verb agreement in your sentences. So we'll go ahead and skip through here. And this tells us, I think you all know what brainstorming is, but just as a quick reminder, when you brainstorm, you are thinking about any ideas you have about a topic. There are good ideas, and sometimes you have bad ideas. It doesn't matter if they're good or bad. The point is to think quickly and write them down quickly. Any thoughts you have related to the topic, even if it doesn't seem that important. What you want to do is have a big list of ideas. And then when you're done brainstorming, you can look through those ideas and pull out the ones that you think will work the best to help you write your paragraph or essay. It is a huge mistake to just sit down and start writing and start typing your paragraph. You never want to do that. You need to put some thought into what you want to say, what kind of details you need to include to support your topic sentence, for example. And if you just start writing, your paragraph is going to be very messy and your thoughts are not going to be well connected and it'll be hard to read. So this pre-writing process of brainstorming is extremely important. Make sure you do it before you write, every time. Excuse me. All right, so we have a little brainstorming practice activity here, activity 1. It says, next Saturday is your grandma's birthday. She's going to be 88 years old. What will you get for her? And make a list of 5 suitable or appropriate birthday gifts for grandma. So just off the top of my head here, if I was going to get something for my grandma, I would get her, let's see, maybe a gift certificate to McDonald's because she loves McDonald's and she doesn't go there too often because she doesn't like to spend money. So I would get her that. Maybe I could get her some new clothes. Grandmas always like new clothes. I could send her some flowers. Flowers are popular gifts with grandmothers. Let's see, what else could we do for grandma? Maybe make a meal for her, a special meal. Cooking a special meal might be a good one. And a fifth example might be maybe something for her computer. My grandma likes using her computer. Maybe she needs something new for her computer. So that right there is a brainstorm, right? 5 ideas. In this case, I made a list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's a very basic brainstorm. All right. Here it talks about why brainstorming is important. And I already mentioned we need to think about what we want to write. And this helps us get those ideas down, and then we can organize them later. So this is, if you remember, the last 2 weeks, we talked about that egg salad sandwich paragraph, how to make an egg salad sandwich. And this is what a brainstorm might look like. All right, if you want to do, so we're going to try to write about something that's easy to do. All right, and this person said, okay, well, writing a business letter, maybe that was one idea that came to mind when they started brainstorming. An egg salad sandwich, that's pretty easy. Riding a bicycle, okay. Boiling an egg, okay. And then they gave some details here. That's the next step. Write some details about it. And when they went back and considered all of their ideas, all right, so a business letter, it's not actually easy to write a business letter. So they crossed that one off right away. Boiling an egg, there's not much to say about boiling an egg. So that would not be a good paragraph. You heat up water and put the egg in and take it out. You can't get a good paragraph out of that. So they crossed that one off. Riding a bicycle, the problem with that one is it's very hard to describe the process of riding a bicycle. So it might be easy to do it, but it's not easy to describe it. And that's what you need to keep in mind here. So they settled on making an egg salad sandwich because you've got ingredients that you can talk about and you've got steps that you can talk about. So that's enough to put into one paragraph. It's not too complicated, and it's enough to make a paragraph. So that was a good choice for this assignment. So you can see not every idea was good, and eventually they settled on this one. Okay, so we'll move along here. You can brainstorm in different ways also. This is called a cluster brainstorm. If you are a visual person and you like to see things kind of spread out, this is a good way to do it. Some people like to just make a list like we did up here with grandma's birthday present. You can do that too. There's no wrong way to brainstorm. Whatever works best for you will be just fine. All right, and then for activity 2, we've got some practice here. So this topic is about clothing and fashion. And you can use this brainstorm area down here to think of some ideas. If your topic is clothing and fashion. Here's a transportation one. So you've got a bus, an airplane, a bullet train, bicycle, and car. So if your topic was transportation, those might be some of the ideas that you write about in your brainstorm. And for the last one here, we have something valuable. Of course, money is valuable. Diamonds are valuable. Jewelry. Cars are valuable, especially a fancy sports car like this. That a convertible looks like an Alfa Romeo from Italy, I believe. That's what that is. A diamond ring, of course, is very valuable, and a big house like this would be valuable as well. So, again, for homework, choose one of these. You don't have to do all 3 of them. Choose either clothing or transportation or valuable things, and do your own brainstorm in the box here. And of course, these are just starting off points. You're going to write down a lot more than just these 5 things here. Okay, let's move along then to activity 3. All right, you're going to go back to unit 1, and we had several paragraphs there. You're going to choose one of those paragraphs and make your own brainstorm. You're not going to brainstorm the exact paragraph. You're going to do your own version of it. So they use the example here of my first flight. And that was about a scary experience. So if you want to use that one as an example, you're going to write about your own frightening experience and brainstorm what happened. Okay. If you choose an easy sandwich, you're not going to necessarily do a sandwich, but it would be something that's easy to do or something that's easy to make, your own idea, and you'll brainstorm thoughts that you could use to include in your paragraph. And again, so just choose one of those topics and go ahead and think about, of course, which paragraph you chose, and then why did you choose that one? And then you can do your brainstorm down below. Okay, so that's brainstorming. Here we have a little bit of grammar. Not too difficult. This is subject-verb agreement. This is a problem that many English learners have when making sentences. And they start out with the example of the verb prepare. So I prepare, you prepare, we, they prepare. But when you use the third person here, he, she, it, we need to add an S at the end. And many students forget about that S. It's very important. They forget about it when speaking, but also when writing. So don't forget that. And here it gives you a little note about how to do that. If your verb ends in a Y, consonant plus Y, change it to I and add ES. So try, tries, fly, flies, cry, cries. And if it ends in a CH, SH, SS, X, ZZ, add ES to it. So I watch, she watches, I wash, he washes, you miss, it misses, they tax, the city taxes, and you buzz, it buzzes, or for example, the bee buzzes. So a common mistake is to forget that S, and it's very important. So don't forget it. It's just a small letter, but it's important. So please remember that. And another common mistake happens when we have prepositional phrases that come in between the subject and the verb. And these can cause us to get confused about what the subject is. So let's go down here. So this example, the owner, so that's like a he or she, right? The owner of these restaurants is Italian. So the subject here is not restaurants. Even though restaurants comes right before the verb, the subject is not restaurants. This sentence is about the owner, and that's a he or she. So he, if we take out that prepositional phrase, he is Italian, or she is Italian. This prepositional phrase of these restaurants just describes, gives us a little more information about the owner, but the subject is the owner. So remember that. that becomes very tricky, and you'll see some more examples here. So the main product of Brazil and Colombia are coffee. No, that's not right. What's the subject here? Brazil and Colombia come right before are. So if my sentence was Brazil and Colombia are countries, then it's okay. But the subject here is not Brazil and Colombia. The subject is product, the main product. So that's like an it, right? So it, the main product is coffee, is what it should be. Or if you want to change product to plural, you could do that. The main products of Brazil. In this case, we've got another problem here. The main products of Brazil is coffee and aluminum. No, because our subject has an S. Our subject is now a they. So we would have to do the main products of Brazil are coffee and aluminum. So keep that in mind. Anytime you see a prepositional phrase between your subject and verb, be careful of that and look closely at it to see what really is the subject here. Is it product or is it these countries? Let's go ahead and look at these 6 sentences and see if we can figure out what the problem is in each one. So number 1, in my country, most people lives near the coast because the interior is too dry. All right, in my country, most people, so that is more than one, right? So that's like they. Now, can we say they lives? We can't. The S comes on third person, right? So we have to say they live. So there should be no S there. What about this one? Number 2, a pair of scissors are necessary for this project. This gets very tricky because scissors has an S at the end. So it seems like it's a plural. And it should be are, scissors are. But in fact, a pair is the subject. That's the most important part here. So a pair, that's one pair, so it. So a pair of scissors is necessary for this project. Go down to number 3. Laura carry her guitar from class to class every Thursday. Laura is a she, so she, that's right, this is one of the tricky third person ones. She, we're going to change the Y to IES, and she carries her guitar. Number 4, the main method of transportation in all of those tropical islands are the public bus system. This is one of those super tricky prepositional phrase examples that we just talked about. The main method of transportation. So in all of those tropical islands, this is the prepositional phrase that's going to trick a lot of people. So the subject here is what? The method of transportation, the main method of transportation. So that's like an it. So the method is the public bus system. Number 5, the trees behind my house is dense. Okay, my house is dense. That could be okay. But this is the subject here is not my house. It is the trees. The trees that are behind my house are dense. The trees, they are dense. Number 6, the last one, Earth revolve around the sun. Earth is an it. So it, we need an S at the end of the verb. It revolves around the sun. All right, so we did those together. You can go ahead and look at activity 4. And we have lots of subject-verb agreement problems in this paragraph, the hard work of a teacher. This paragraph hits home. So go ahead and read through that and try to find all of the mistakes, all of the subject-verb agreement mistakes. So you're going to focus on the subject, and if it's a third person, maybe it's missing an S. And also, you're going to focus on those prepositional phrases. If you see those between the subject and verb, take a closer look to make sure that the subject and verb agree. See if there are any new words here that might be difficult for you. Not too bad. Extremely means very. Every now and then, that's a common way to say sometimes. Every now and then, sometimes. Every now and then I go for a bike ride, for example. And a great deal of is a lot of something. This is a little bit more formal sounding. You'll see this more in writing than in speaking. In speaking, most people are going to say a lot of. A lot of. Okay, now here we have our vocabulary practice. So you've got word associations here. Let's go through these. Let's see, let's go down here. And you might hear some whining in the background. That's my daughter and my son. They are home and they are out in the living room playing, and they know that I'm recording, but they don't really seem to care. So I hope it's not too bothersome. All right, so number one, what does frightening mean? Frightening means scary. And between these two, we're going to say afraid. Number two, to omit. If you omit something, you didn't do it, you skipped it, you forgot it, you omitted, you kept it out. So forget is closer. Interior, the interior of a house is the inside of a house. To resolve, to revolve. To revolve. When you go into some buildings, there's a special door that's like a circle and it moves around like this, and you just step in and follow the circle around and you come out on the other side. That is a revolving door. Revolve means to turn. However means, of course, but. You already know that one. To shout, that is a loud voice. To share, if you share, you are giving to someone. The purpose of something is, in this case, between goal and help, we'll say that's a goal. What is the purpose of today's lecture? It's to talk to you about brainstorming and subject-verb agreement in your writing. That's our purpose or goal. Suddenly would be a surprise. Something happens suddenly. 갑자기, it's a surprise. To create is to make something. Cycle. We have here number 11. A cycle is something that goes around in a circle, not necessarily a line, but something that keeps going around. Must do, number 12, is something you need to do. Kindergarten, 유치원, that is for children. Suitable, if something is suitable, that means it is appropriate, or that would be a good idea. A good idea. And number 15, extremely, is a lot, and cluster is a group of something. So that would be similar to together. All right, finally, we have our collocations. Again, these are phrases of words that commonly occur together. So in this case, excuse me for just a second while I have my coffee. I know it's weird to drink coffee when you're in the hot weather on the beach, but I love my coffee. Okay. Depend. So we depend on someone or something. My son depends on me to buy him toys. Number 2, a messy room, not a messy cloud. My son has a messy room. that book is not suitable for a child, to be suitable for someone. So some movies are not suitable for children because they are too violent, or some video games are not suitable for children. To make a list of something. So I made a list of things to buy at Emart last week. Number 5, and so on. And so on. It's like etc. Etc. On my list of things to buy, I had cheese and eggs and bacon and so on. Number 6, cross out an error. To cross out an error. Earlier in this lesson, we had that brainstorm with ideas for things that are easy to do. And one of the examples was write a business letter, and the writer crossed out that idea because it was too hard to write about. It was not a good idea. So the writer crossed out that idea. Talking on the phone. Talking on the phone. I don't like to talk on the phone. Write down a page number. So if you write something down, you're doing it kind of quickly. You wouldn't say that about a long report. You could write a long report, but write down means that you're doing it quickly. So write down a page number, write down a phone number, write down someone's name, something that you're doing quickly. A great deal of something just means many, right? There are a great deal of students in my freshman English class. There are many students in my freshman English class. And last but not least, we have extremely expensive. Extremely expensive. Extremely is an adverb. That is, so that needs to modify an adjective here. And expensive is our adjective. Price is a noun. So it is extremely expensive. If you change price to pricey, which also means expensive, you could say extremely pricey, but you can't say extremely price because price is a noun. Just like you can't say, oh, that's extremely chair. Chair is also a noun. You can't describe chair with extremely. All right, so those are our word activities. And now we're going to talk a little bit about your writing homework for this week, for this unit. And we're going to do this here, activity 7, writing a paragraph from brainstorming. So you're going to choose a topic from activity 2 on pages 33 to 35 and use the ideas that you brainstormed about that topic to write a paragraph. Include the 4 features of a paragraph. And just as a little reminder about that, so let's go back to 33 to 35. You remember our pictures here. Yeah, I asked you to choose 2 of these or one of these to brainstorm. So you're gonna, the one that you brainstormed, you're gonna use that, use your brainstorm. If you did transportation, you'll use all your notes here to write your paragraph. So you're gonna write either about clothing, transportation, or expensive things was the third one. Something valuable. Okay, so those are your 3 options for this one. If possible, try to use some of this vocabulary. I know it's not always easy, but it's a good chance to practice using this. It's one thing to understand it and know what it means, but it's much better to know how to use it and be able to use it yourself. So you don't have to, don't force yourself, but if if there's a good chance to use some of this, please do try to use it in your paragraph. And then it also reminds you to include the 4 features of a paragraph on pages 9 and 10. And you'll remember those are, you need a title, a topic sentence, you have to be sure that your sentences all follow the topic. You don't have any unnecessary sentences. Make sure you indent that first line, and also make sure you have a good concluding sentence there. Remember, the concluding sentence and the topic sentence should be similar. Not exactly the same, but they should be similar. The concluding sentence should echo. You know what an echo is. Hello, 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 hello. Should echo your topic sentence. Of course, give it a title and proofread for good sentences, vocab, and grammar. And we had a special grammar point today with subject-verb agreement. So be very careful about that, because I'm going to be looking for subject-verb agreement issues in your paragraphs. And it says here, use 5 of the vocab words. Again, do what you can. If it's possible and there's a good spot to use them, be sure to use them. But don't force yourself if they don't naturally fit somewhere. If you do use them, please underline them so I can see them easily. Okay. And as always, you're going to type your paragraph into Canvas. And week 3, if you go to module week 3, the online discussion will be right there, and you can type your paragraph right into that. And please send me a picture of your brainstorms. You can just send that on Kakao. All right, that covers everything for Unit 2. We'll stop there for today. As always, if you have any questions, please be sure to send me a message on Kakao. And I'm gonna go jump in the ocean now, do a quick swim. But I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day.